Greetings LEGO and D&D nerds, my name is Ian and welcome to Brick Bestiary, the show where I build D&D creatures out of LEGO bricks. Today we're tackling not one but 4 creatures, spanning pages 141 to 146 of the good old 2014 Monster Manual. That's right, we are taking a look at all 4 types of Genie. So Genies in 5e are elemental creatures. They're sort of what happens when someone dies and then one of the elemental planes glues itself to their soul and creates a Genie. Something along those lines. So there's one type of Genie for each of the 4 elemental planes. For the plane of Earth, we have the Tao. For the plane of Air, we have the Djinni. I think this is pronounced Djinni. It's like Jinn, but with an I on it. And it starts with a D. So it's a Djinni with a D. For fire, we have the efreeti, and for water, we have the merit. Now, I for one have never had a cause to use any Genies in my campaign, although I have had an efreeti on standby because my players accidentally got a hold of an efreeti bottle very, very early in the campaign, so I had to whip up a minifig just in case they were to open it. But now it's been 5 years and they still haven't. It comes up from time to time, but I think they're scared to use it, which is probably the best outcome I can hope for until they have a few more levels under their belts. Anyway, we've got 4 creatures to build today instead of just 1, so let's get to it, starting with the Tao.
Let's start off with the base. Now, most of the Genies have a sort of partially incorporeal bottom half, except for the efreeti, and the Tao's is sort of a sandstorm because the Tao is the Genie of Earth. So what I'm going to do is take a bunch of these 1x2 tan plates and form them into a spiral. I'm going to put the first one onto the bottom of a minifig stand, and then I'm just going to start connecting them end to end like this and twisting them around as I go into a spiral shape. I'm going to go up 5, and then on the 6th one I'm going to use a jumper tile instead of a plate and put a 1x1 on top of that. I can fan out this spiral if I want to make it larger or smaller. You can kind of play around with that. I'm going to keep mine pretty tight here so it's a nice solid base of chaotic sand going on. Now let's start with the upper body. I'm going to be using one of these 1x1 snot bricks with studs on all of the sides, and I'm going to sandwich on either side of that a 1x2 in gray. I'm going to put the center pin on the bottom into the open stud so that the bricks are centered like this. Then I'm going to take these quarter round tiles in this coral pink color and put 2 of them into a half circle with the curve facing up. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to place 2 gray studs on the front, and then I'm going to take 2 more quarter rounds and place them like this so they form a sort of Y shape on the front of the Tao's robes. Then I'm going to take these 2 coral flower studs and place them on either side for our arms to attach to. I'll take a 1x1 clip and put them on each of those studs, and into that I'm going to attach these 1x2 plates that have a clip handle on the end like that. Then I'll take these 1x2 clips and I'm going to put one on each end like that to form the lower part of the arm. Then I'm going to use these curved pieces here to make the sort of sweeping sleeves that we see in the Tao art. A quarter round will fill in the gap, and then this 2x2 curved piece will kind of swoop downward. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side for the other sleeve. And that will be our Tao's arms. For the next body segment, I'm going to start pretty much the same way with a snot brick and 2 plates on either side. These ones are going to be the coral color. I'm going to take quarter rounds and put them on both faces. Both sides, I want the curved part of the circle facing down like that. And then I'm going to take 2 more and put in the sides like this. This piece will connect onto the bottom of the upper body. Then we're going to take this 1x1 pearl gold plate with a clip on it and place it here facing forward to form sort of a golden belt, to the bottom of which we will attach another snot brick. On the front of that, I'm going to put a 1x1 hand tile. We're going to start transitioning sort of into sand here. And so I'm just going to cover that with this heart-shaped tile on the front like that. Flipping that around, I'm going to take a 1x2 plate in tan and I'm going to center it on that back stud in the vertical direction. Then I'm going to take 2 quarter rounds and I'm going to place them kind of in opposite directions in the center like this. And I'm just going to twist them a little bit so that we get this sort of flowy fabric look over the sand. Then I'm going to take 2 more 1x2 plates with these 2x2 curve and quarter rounds, and I'm going to make 2 opposing curve panels like that. These are going to be connected onto the sides here. Again, that center pin on the bottom is going to go into the open stud, and then I can kind of tilt them at an angle to form the bottom of the skirts. This stud on top of the base will connect right to the bottom of the snot brick like that. And now for the head, I'm going to use this gray head with red eyes from the Marvel Gore the God Butcher minifigure. It wouldn't be my first choice of head, but my options were limited and this one worked out pretty well. And then to top it off, I'm going to use the headdress from the Lego Star Wars Jedi Master Luminara. Now we just need to give her a weapon. So I'm going to take this bar with a stud on the bottom and attach a pearl gold stud to that, followed by a black stud that has the open hole. And into that open hole, I'm going to insert a pearl gold unicorn horn. I'm going to flip that over and place a pearl gold stud with a hole through it on top. Then I'm going to add another snot brick, this one in gray. And I'm going to put these round tiles on the sides and some gray studs on the other 2 sides. Then onto those studs, I'm going to stack a 1x1 plate and a 1x1 tile to form the heads of the Warhammer, just like that. And we'll finish it off with a unicorn horn in the top. I'll pop that into her hand, and that is our Dow. Up next, we're going to build the Genie. I'm going to start us off with a snot brick as usual, on the sides of which I'm going to place 2 blue studs. And then on the front, I'm going to center a 1x2 plate. Then I'm going to take these half-rounded blue tiles and I'm going to place them on each side with the rounded part facing in to kind of form pecs. And I'll stack onto the bottom of that another snot brick with 2 blue cheese slopes on the sides and a blue 1x1 tile on the front. Then I'm going to take this 3 long bar and I'm going to insert it in the bottom up the hollow studs in the center. I'm just going to push it to about right there, and it's going to help secure the bottom of the Genie, but for now I want to leave plenty sticking out so it doesn't accidentally get pushed too far up until we're ready for it. Next, I'm going to need 2 of these shorter minifig capes in red. I'm going to place them on the back, one of the holes of each cape overlapping on this stud that's on the back, and then I'm going to take a 2x1 tile and cover that gap up. Then I want to bring the other hole of the cape around so that I can line it up with this stud here, and I'll use a red clip to lock that in place. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Those capes together will film this sort of shirt vest that the Genie has going on here. And now we can go ahead and attach his arms. I'm going to be using these blue droid bodies for the upper arm, and then I will attach a 1x1 blue vertical clip onto the end of each with a blue clip that has a closed ring on the bottom like that to form a fist. For his head, I'm going to be using this head from a Lego Marvel figure. This is Ronan the Accuser's head. Definitely not the head that I would prefer because of the black face paint that he has going on here. I prefer a more plain blue head, but those options are limited, and the sort of black face paint coming down around under his chin kind of gives the impression of a beard, so we're going to work with that. I'm going to add this minifig turban, and into the front I will place a single feather like that. Next, I'm going to take this Ninjago weapons backpack that has 2 sword slots, and into it I'm going to place this short sword and this gray knife. And then I'm going to take a dark blue jumper tile and place it into the neck opening like that. I'm going to hold that in place, and I'm going to place the end of this bar into the top of that jumper tile, and then I'm going to push the bar the rest of the way in until it snaps into place, and this will become our belt where he keeps his extra swords. Onto the bottom of this jumper plate, I'm going to attach this ghostly minifigure bottom. I'm going to attach it backwards so that the smoke actually kind of billows toward the front in this case, and I'll pivot this arm up and take a Lego scimitar and place it in his fist like that. And now you could attach him directly to the base like this, but the Genie is your classic Aladdin blue genie look, and even in the monster manual art he is coming out of a lamp, so I'm going to build a little Lego lamp to go with him, starting with this pearl gold jumper tile, which I'll place a stud on top of, then this stud with a bar handle coming off of it, and on top of that I'm going to add this stud with a clip handle. Then on the end of this extended bar, I'm just going to place a gold minifig hand pointing up and angled out to form the spout of the lamp, and I can attach the Genie onto the lamp like this and attach the whole thing to the base. And that will complete our Genie, which is Genie number 2. Alright, and now for the efreeti, the only one of the Genie that walks on its own 2 legs. As with all the others, we're going to start with a classic snot brick. On each side, I'm going to place a 1x1 red plate, and on the front, I will center a 2x1 plate. And we're going to put onto that 2 curved half-round pieces, just like we did with the Genie, to form pecs. And then on the back, I'm going to place this half-round tile. A stud with a pin on top will go on each side as an arm attachment point, and for the lower section of the torso we'll connect another snot brick with cheese slopes on each side, a 1x1 tile on the back, and a heart-shaped tile on the front. And then again, just like the Genie, I'm going to be placing a bar in the center. This one is a 4 long bar, so 3 or 4, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to insert that here. And then I'm going to be using this Nexonite demon head for our face with this horn crown from Lego Darth Maul. For the arms, I'm going to be using a pair of minifig legs that I have removed from the hip joint. I will clip a minifig hand into that open joint until it clicks, and I'll do the same thing for the other arm here. I want the hand facing out toward the back of the leg like that. Then I'm going to take a red stud with a hole in it and place one on the end of each leg, and then I'm going to take a red robot claw and a chrome gold 1-ring piece. I'm going to put the ring over top of the claw and slide the bar into that open stud like that. We'll do the same thing on this arm, and then we'll clip the minifig hands onto these pins like that. For the lower half, I'm going to take another snot brick, and I'm going to place a dark blue cheese slope onto the top stud, and then I'll put a tile on the back and the front like this. That's going to form our sort of loincloth that he's wearing. And I'm going to attach this upside down onto this bar, but I'm going to sandwich this gold minifig epaulette piece in between to form a belt. So I'm going to place the epaulettes on first. I'm pointing upward like that, and then I'll insert here, and as long as I apply pressure to the bottom of the cheese slope while I push up, it'll move the bar as high as it will go to sandwich that belt into place. Now to build the legs, I'm going to take these 1x1 brackets that point upward. In red, I'm going to put a dark blue cheese slope on top of each one like that, and then I will clip these onto the sides of the snot brick, kind of at an angle like that. Onto the front is going to go these 2 gold bar clip pieces and half round plates covering the exposed stud there. Then I will clip these gold clips onto the bottom, and I can add these 2 red fang pieces to be the efreeti's feet. So I make sure that he's standing at the correct angle. I can go ahead and snap him onto a Lego base. I will give him a black scimitar to hold in one hand, and in the other, I'm going to give him some fire. This particular flame piece is one that I bent into a weird curve just by heating it with a lighter. You can just give him a regular fire piece, but I have this one laying around and it kind of looks like a fireball, which is interesting. So I'm going to be using that one, and this is genie number 3, the efreeti. And last but not least, we have the Merid. So we're going to begin by building a sort of watery spiral base for him. I'm going to take a translucent clear 1x2 plate, and I'm going to stack 3 blue translucent studs on top of it. I'm going to have 1 stack of 2 and 1 individual like that. On the lower side, I'm going to take a 1x2 plate and place it sort of centered at a bit of an angle there, and then I'll take another 1x2 translucent plate and place it here again at kind of an odd angle. I'll put another stud on this end and another tile on this end, and then another 1x2 plate. I'll place a stud onto the bottom of another tile like this, and then place that on the back side here. Another stud goes here, and a final translucent plate. And then on top of that, I'm going to place a 1x1 plate and a 1x1 tile on one side, and then a stud with a hole through it will go here, and this translucent stud with a pin will go in that hole. So I can invert the whole thing and attach it to this radar disc with a water splash pattern. Now the Merid is going to be a little heftier than the other ones, so instead of starting with a single snot brick, I'm going to be starting with these 2 1x1s that have snot studs on only 2 sides, and the sides are adjacent. I'm going to lock them together with a 1x2 plate on top, and then a dark green jumper tile on top of that. Then into the bottoms, I'm going to place 2 half pins and another 1x2 tile. Then a 2x2 bracket will go onto the bottom of that, pointing upwards even though the bracket is one that points down. A 2x3 in white will form our back. I'm going to take 2 of these 2x2 slope pieces and cover the sides with 1x2 versions at the top to fill in those gaps. And then I'll place this onto the back of that white bracket to form the back of our Merid. For the front, I'm going to take a 2x3 in dark green and place a 2x2 jumper tile on the bottom with a white radar dish to kind of form the pot belly. Then 2 quarter rounds at the top facing in opposite directions will kind of form the V-neck of his shirt. Then the middle 2 studs of this will connect to these snot studs here, and we'll finish out the sides with these 2 2x3 wedges in first red and then blue to complete the sides of his shirt. I'm going to take this pearl gold 2x2 plate with a bar handle and place it on the bottom to form a belt. And then for the head, I'm going to be using this dark green minifig head that has this sort of ghostly beard. This is a Ninjago piece, if I am not mistaken. That will go on top of the jumper tile there. And this mask, which is the swamp creature mask from Scooby-Doo, will go on top of that. The arms will be constructed from these 1x3 curved slopes with a 1x1 bracket in the offset stud and a dark green clip to form the hand on the end. I'll attach them to the top stud of these triangle pieces, and then I can clip my water spout onto the bottom of the belt. I can angle the sort of spiral of water as needed to make sure he is stable, and there we go. We have our final genie, the Merid.
And so there we have all 4 varieties of genie. I'm pretty happy with how they all turned out. There's obviously a range here. I think the Merid or the efreeti might be my favorite, but I'm not really sure. Let me know down in the comments below how you guys think these turned out. This was a heavily requested video, so I hope that everyone who was looking forward to it is pleased with the outcome. Speaking of heavily requested, I have a couple quick channel announcements to share. The first of which is something a lot of people have asked me for, and that is a list of pieces for my builds. I've been trying to figure out the best way to do this. I'm not a huge fan of the Bricklink Studio Designer and the share your wanted list feature on Bricklink has said coming soon for like a year, so at this point I'm not really sure what soon actually is. But over the past couple months, I've been slowly working my way through my backlog of builds, creating Bricklink wanted lists and exporting them into a Google Drive. So starting with this video, there will be a link down in the description to that Google Drive where I will have parts lists for the creature built in that video. I have included both a PDF version if you want to just look at the list and find pieces in your own collection, and also the XML version that Bricklink exports, which you can then re-upload to Bricklink and have your own copy of the wanted list if you want to order pieces. I've currently worked my way back up to the Advent Calendar project that I did back in December, and I will continue going down the list in my spare time until I have parts lists for everything I've built so far, and also moving forward. So I hope that that will be a helpful tool for anyone who's trying to recreate my builds. And channel announcement number 2 is that next week is Dragon Week, the community event hosted by Genies and Pointy Hat. And even though it should be an off week in my post schedule, I can't miss Dragon Week. So be on the lookout for our special Dragon Week episode, or possibly 2 episodes. I'm not sure if I'm gonna break it into 2 parts yet. We'll see what happens. But that is all. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, be sure to let me know down in the comments below what creature you want to see me build next.